with you. You guys are an amazing family. The bigger we get, it's just awesome to see the incredibleness of our family. And no matter where we go, people saying hi, being as friendly as they are, it just makes you feel so at home. But my wife and I, over 20 years ago, we made a decision that we were going to live from one convention to the next. Because it's better to live from peak to peak than valley to valley, if that makes sense. So what I really want to share with you for a few minutes is the importance of being all in. Not just kind of in, not dipping your toe in the shallow end of the pool, but taking it all off and diving head first and submersing yourself and being in. Does it make sense to be in?
Yes.
All right, how many of you are all in? Well, that's really good to hear. So, a few years ago, my wife and I were deciding that we were going to do some remodeling. And we had our mindset that we were going to get a very unique hot tub, a very unique bathtub of sorts, if you will. One with jets that would, kind of let you sink in and soak in, that would it wasn't any ordinary hot tub or bathtub. This was going to be something pretty special. So we said, well, let's just go shopping. Let's go look around. Let's just go see what's out there, but let's make a decision. We were tired of talking about it. Let's just go get this done. So we went out. We found a very special store. And she went one way and I went the other. We kind of got separated for a little while. And I got my mind set on, I saw something, I was like, that's it. This is it. This is the tub. And so I kind of went to go find Juliet to see what she had come up with, if there was something any better. And as I'm meandering through the store, I'm having a difficult time finding her, but something kind of caught my attention. Right in the middle of the store, there weren't a lot of people around, but there were some people looking at something that kind of struck me. Like, what's up with this little tub over here? What could be so special about this? And here's what I saw. Oops. Could you roll that clip for me, please?
And we're closing in 5 minutes.
You've invited Bell into your home to service your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Now, we invite you into ours. Our showroom experts can help you pick that perfect faucet or guide you with your complete kitchen or bath remodel.
Excuse me, ma'am, you're gonna have to leave.
Bell Plumbing and Heating. You'll love our showroom so much you won't want to leave.
I don't know how many guys would be confident enough in their marriage to show their wife taking a bath to a couple thousand people, but that was a lot of fun. She actually did some modeling for a little bit, and I just thought, one of these days I'm going to find a place to use that. And it was just right now, so I don't know how much she knew about that, but hopefully there's a little surprise there. But the moral of that story is that when it came to buying that bathtub, she was all in. Got in the pool. Are you guys ready to take it all off? Are you ready to get into youngevity and let it get into you?
Yes.
Are you? Because here's what it's going to take. You will go through periods of great discomfort. You will find yourself in a house of pain. There's 2 reasons why you're going to be in pain. You're either so uncomfortable and disliking your certain circumstances that you find yourself in, or you're in pain because you're exercising yourself out of your circumstances into the future. Does that make sense? So be okay with being in pain. Be okay that this is a house of pain. Some of you think that this is all about finding comfort. The more comfortable you are, the more in the wrong direction you're headed. You constantly want to be living from one discomfort to the next. As soon as you find yourself getting comfortable, you're lazy. You've forgotten what you're fighting for. You forgot to get up and do something. So be okay with living in the house of pain. Speaking of living in the house of pain, I wanted to take my own life to the next level. I wanted to be a great example. I didn't want to be all words and no action, nothing but talk. So I wanted to put myself to use. So I started to evaluate my priorities. And I said, how can I be the best leader that I can be? What are the most significant priorities in my life? And I'm going to invite you to take inventory of your life and ask yourself the same question. What are your priorities? If I said, what are your priorities? Could you rattle them off quickly? Or would you sit there and go, that's a really good question. What are my priorities? See, if you don't know what your priorities are, then you get distracted in life. One rabbit trail to the next. Somebody says, I have a great idea. You're over there. Hey, Scott, I want to talk to you about this. You're over there. And you're not focused. It's like Moses in the promised land. There was like a point A and a point B, but for 40 years, you know the story? All over creation, and the mileage that was tracked when it really wasn't that far, it would have been a whole lot easier if they could just make a straight line. How many of you are making too many miles out of your journey? Making it more complicated than it has to be. We want to keep this simple. Sometimes we get so in our head about how smart we have to be. You know what the greatest comfort is that I have? It's knowing that Dr. Wallach has done every single thing in the world to keep this as simple as possible, not complicated, and I can just keep saying, that's a great question. I wonder what Dr. Wallach has to say about that. Let's go find out. That's a great question. Let's just see what Dr. Wallach had to say about that. You know, that's really interesting. Why don't you see what Dr. Wallach has to say? I'm a pilot by trade. I went to flight school for like 5 years, and I learned that air traffic controllers are extremely valuable. They make the people in the sky, they make their journeys very, very simple, from point A to point B. So I just like being an air traffic controller in Youngevity. Every time someone asks a question, I don't say, let me tell you how smart I am about that. I say, let me park your plane at the right terminal, and you can go get all the information you need right there. If that didn't work for you, I'll find another terminal for you to park at. I'm just constantly parking airplanes. You with me? How many of you want your business to be that simple? Yeah. You don't want to have to learn how to fly the airplane and be the mechanic and be the air traffic controller. Know your place on the bus and be okay with that. Be okay with it. You just need to be on the plane. And know that there are people competent in the cockpit to help get you there safely. And for me, that master pilot is Dr. Wallach. Give it up for Dr. Wallach. So these priorities, I started to think years ago about my priorities, and I've lived by these priorities for a long time now, and they're working. See how these sound to you. You might have different priorities. I'm going to share my priorities with you, and see how they sound to you. And once you figure them out, life will get real easy for you. You get less distracted. So here's my number one priority. When you heard me say hello on Thursday night, I guess it was, when we all came out here, the thing that I shared with you was Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord, and He will provide the plans. Yes. So some of you are constantly wondering, how do I do this? The plans will be revealed when you ask for help. The plans will be revealed when you ask for help. So I did that a long time ago, and things got really, really simple. Now, if you're questioning this, I just dare you. I dare you. I triple dog dare you to give that a whirl. Yeah. Give that an attempt in your life. I triple dog dare you. Yes. Number two, here's my second priority. My second priority is my amazing wife, Juliet. Everything I do, number two, revolves around her and making her the priority, the center of my life. You know what that does? It makes for a phenomenal marriage. So for anybody here that's struggling in their marriage, I triple dog dare you to give that a whirl. Go focus on your spouse. Instead of complaining, instead of making excuses for why your marriage isn't better, go focus on them. Find a way to give them attention. Compliment them. Lift them up. Say words that make them drawn to you instead of actions and behaviors that repel them from you. Give them a hug. Tell them that you love them. Focus. Spend the time. Make them feel like the king or the queen that they are. That's number two. because I might be unique in this category, is children. So my children are number 3. You may not have kids, so you might have to put a different priority in there for yourself. But for me, I have 3 amazing children. Why are they amazing? I give seed to that, that egg there. I mean, it was just amazing how it works out. So therefore, they're amazing. So that's my children. But they're the apple of my eye. And they call me dad or daddy, and we do stuff together. We hang out, we love, we embrace. We have a great time together. And here's what kids do. You think that love is spelled L-O-V-E? I got news for you. It's T-I-M-E. T-I-M-E is how kids spell love. So if you want to see your kids elevated, if you want to see the bond created in your household with your children, with respect, love, adoration, admiration, appreciation, then for goodness sakes, start spending some time on your kids and doing what they want to do instead of what you want to do with them or for them, right? Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is your health. We've all heard it said a million times, and the beautiful thing about youngevity is the 90 for life message. What makes us different? Dr. Wallach and 90 for life. That's what makes us unique and different. Nobody has Dr. Wallach's decades of research and the FDA and the books and the autopsies and everything else that goes along with it. Nobody has that. We're unique in that respect. And because we are a health company, then you want to create your body as like the temple of God. What you put into yourself, the example that you put out there. When you go out to eat, make smart choices. When you're cooking at home, make smart choices. It's difficult to go out and say that we're a health company and you're not acting or living or behaving in a healthy lifestyle. So can I ask all of you a favor? Will you do something about it? Yes. Do you promise you'll do something about it? Yes. We don't want 3 people up here. And by the way, give all the winners of the Healthy Body Championship, the Healthy Body Challenge, give them all a hand. However, is that every single one of you should be a champion in your own life around your health. It shouldn't just be those 3 people. Every single one of you should claim victory around your own health. Do the best you can. Whatever that is, do the very, very best you can, because I'll tell you something, people are watching you. They're watching me. They're watching us. And they're saying, do you mean what you say, or are those just words coming out of your mouth? Do you mean what you say, or are you just giving lip service? Because most of the time, we can tell whether someone's behaving or living in a healthy lifestyle. True or false? Yeah, so let's not say one thing and talk about how great 90 for life is and Dr. Wallach, but we're a living, breathing, walking dead man or woman. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so let's make number 4, your health a priority. How about number 5, money? Let's make money a priority. Now, I don't say this in some, negative connotation, but I don't mince words. I love money. I love to make money. I'm proud of making money. I want to be wealthy. I am wealthy. I will continue to be wealthy, and I'm not going backwards because I've been there. I'm only moving forward. So the only conclusion to my bank account is there will be larger and bigger and deeper and more deposits, and it's not stopping soon. How about yours? And in the words of one of my greatest friends, I had the privilege of knowing this man from the time I was 19 years old. Dennis Weaver. How many of you remember Chester? Marshall Sam McLeod. How many of you remember Gunsmoke? This is Dennis Weaver, the Hollywood actor. He died in February of 2006 from prostate cancer. I wish I knew then what I know now, because I believe and I'm absolutely confident that that man would still be here today, and he graced this world with his presence. You never saw him do a Class B movie, one that compromised his integrity or his values. What's your movie looking like? Are you compromising your integrity? Are you stepping over the boundaries of your own moral ethics and your code of honor? I think we need to live a little bit more like Dennis Weaver. Every day he went out there, the movies he did, the scripts he worked on, the things he did. He produced Steven Spielberg's first movie ever. And I remember he started mentoring me at the age of 19. I was in college. And I'm not going to tell you the story because I don't even, there it is. I don't have enough time to tell you that story, but here's what I want you to know. He gave me the best lesson of his life. It came right on his deathbed. He went to Mexico because that's where he thought he could find alternative medicine, and he despised the way they did medicine in this country. And he lived many, many years longer than he was supposed to based on the doctors of this country, so he went south. That's where he found the best thing he could. But on his deathbed, I asked him a question. I said, "Sir, you've blessed my life so many times, and I'm asking you for one more lesson. Just give me one." And he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want you to give me the best lesson you can on money." He goes, "It's easy. I got it for you. Here's what it is. Money is exactly like manure."
Oh, yeah.
That's it? No, I said, "I'm not done." He said, "Money is exactly like manure because if you stack it up, it stinks really, really bad. But if you take it just like manure and you spread your stack around, then it puts this little layer everywhere, and it grows stuff, and it cultivates stuff, and it's rich." And he said, "You do that, you have that mentality with your stack as you go through life, and you will never be sorry." And I have taken that lesson about money, and I've applied it to my life. I've applied it to the people around me. I share this story all the time. Some of you have heard me tell this story so many times, I'll never stop telling that story. Just like I'll never stop telling Dr. Wallet's story, I'll never stop telling Dennis Weaver's story, because if I believe you marry those two topics together, money and health, then you get to own your time. You'll never own your time unless you have control over your health and you have control over your finances. Then and only then will you own your life and escape out of modern day slavery. Does that make sense? We have to kick modern day slavery right in the teeth. Bam! You have to knock it out of here. So, I got to show you one more thing here. All right, I made a decision. Speaking of getting in shape, this has to do with number 4. I wanted to get in the best physical shape that I can. I just turned 44 years old, and this is in our basement, and a really good friend of mine entered my life about last October. His name is Nick Capandi. And some of you have heard his story. He was a rising star of this last convention. And when I heard his philosophy about life, I decided it was time for me to get in shape. And so here I am stretching. I'm not very flexible in this picture, but what I am attempting to do in this picture is to do the splits. As crazy as that sounds, I'm attempting to do the splits. Very uncomfortable. Very. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, if you have not stretched out, it hurts to get all these muscles moving in a direction they're not used to going. So I'm committed. Now I'm showing you that as a benchmark because one of these days, I don't know the exact date, but one of these days, I'm going all the way down. My wife took that picture, and she laughed at me, and she saw me stretching, and she just starts laughing up a storm, and she goes, "I've been attempting to get you to do the splits for 21 years of marriage, and all of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere and you're doing the splits." So, yeah, but it's painful. Working out is painful. It's uncomfortable. But I promise you, once you do it and once you get committed, you'll never want to stop. It feels so good to just be healthy. It feels so good to be healthy. But in conclusion, I want to ask you right now, what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? What is getting you out of bed and making you dance? What gets you out of bed with a spring in your step? And I don't know about you, but this motivates the heck out of me. One day, our children are going to tell a story about us. How do we know they're going to tell a story about us? Because you tell stories about your parents right now. They're just stories, but what story are your children going to tell about you? All I want to know is that whatever happens for the rest of my life, whether I'm here or I'm not, when I'm dead and gone, I want those faces to have great things to say about me. Here's what my dad did in the face of adversity. Here's what we did when we were presented these challenges. Here's how we handled these circumstances. And I want them to be stories that my children talk about that lead us from this mentality of victimhood to living in Victoryville. See, you can come from the hood, victimhood, or you can decide that that's where you were from, but now you live in Victoryville. I want Victoryville for all of you. There's no other town to live in except for Victoryville. I love you guys. Enjoy the convention.